This is The Talking Dead, a podcast dedicated to the AMC TV show The Walking Dead.
Hello everybody, my name is Chris, and my name is Jason, and this is The Talking Dead number 76 for Monday, April 9th, 2012. Jason, happy Vinny Ridge Day.
Vinny Ridge?
Vinny Ridge. From Wikipedia, I will tell you the government of Canada declared April 9th as Vinny Ridge Day to honor and remember the Battle of Vinny Ridge, which took place during the First World War at Vinny Ridge, France in 1917.
Huh.
And today is the official holiday for that. It's not a day off or anything, but it is Vinny Ridge Day.
Oh, good for us.
Good for us. All right, that was a short one.
I don't know a whole lot about Vinny Ridge. I knew it was a battle in World War I, but that's about it.
Not like the pencils from last week.
No, pencils are not a battle in World War I at all.
So, speaking of last week, huge thanks to Jason and Karen from The Walking Dead Cast for participating in our Season 2 wrap-up crossover extravaganza.
Extravaganza?
Yep, we recorded the first half on this program. If you want to listen to that, I highly recommend you head over to walkingdeadcast.com and check out the other half of our Season 2 Top 10. I listened back to their half, and I'm happy to say we don't sound like morons.
Really?
Yes, I know.
Well, that's
you don't sound like a moron.
Really? Really? You're not teasing me.
No, not at all. Really, right. So everyone should head over and check that out. On this program today, we have a very special guest joining us later for an interview. That is Emily Kinney, who plays Beth on The Walking Dead. Before that, we have some walking stuff, Walking Dead news to cover, and we've also got Holy Crap, you see that, and listener feedback. So Jason, without further delay, why don't we get right into the Walking Dead news?
No delay.
I will not delay.
You're delaying.
Next week on The Walking Dead.
That's not right.
That's not the right clip. I had to delay because I didn't have the thing open. I don't even know, so forget it. The news.
Are we just going to insert it?
No, we're just gonna keep going. Everything's fine.
All right, here comes the news. Without further delay.
Yes, Glenn Mazzara was interviewed, who was speaking about the Season 2 DVDs. Comes from FearNet.com. He has some interesting things to say. He said, we don't have a release date yet for the Season 2 DVD. That's not that interesting.
No, really, no.
Presumably, it's going to go to summer sometime, or I would guess late summer,
September,
Season 3.
yeah, back to school thing.
He did say there will be 5 back to school Walking Dead DVD.
Why not?
Here you go, kids. He did say, though, there will be 5 commentaries for the first episode.
Wow.
And yeah, the first episode, not just the first episode. I can't even read my notes.
Are they big enough? You want to make a fun
There will be 5 commentaries for the first episode. Pretty much that already. Nebraska, Judge Jury, Executioner, and the finale.
That makes more sense.
Doesn't it? Why would you do 5 commentaries on one episode?
Why not? I think that's interesting. There's some DVDs and Blu-rays that come with multiple commentary tracks.
I guess there's enough people involved, too, that they could get multiple
One of
recordings.
the producers and the writers, one of the actors.
Yeah, that's true. That's only 2.
Well, you could explain that. This is the one with the director. This is the one with the second unit director. And all kinds of stuff.
Well, he went on to say there will be many deleted scenes with his commentary as to why they were cut. There will be a special bonus feature of cut material that we sort of turned into a little featurette. I think there will be a lot of AMC behind the scenes featurettes. So I think that when you buy from iTunes, you get a little feature on that episode.
Yeah.
I think we'll probably get those on the DVD. He also says there will also be in the deleted scenes, I think almost 12 minutes of footage that was cut very early on. We'll do a detailed commentary as to why it was cut and why we didn't think it was pushing the story forward. So that should be interesting. We'll get to the deleted scenes. I'm going to assume it is that scene we saw way back of Shane being chased along on foot on being chased by zombies on the road, turning around shooting, kind of stumbling and stuff.
And an explanation as to why he doesn't have a Jeep anymore.
Maybe, I don't know. I mean, we'll find out how he got stuck there, what he was doing. I think that footage was cut when they combined footage for 2 episodes into the one Season 2 premiere. Right. And so we might get a little bit more information on what's going on there and why they had to combine 2 into 1. Okay. So it should be interesting. We don't have a release date yet.
Back to school. I don't know. You can buy your pencils.
Good. Your pencils, your backpack, your notebook, and your Walking Dead DVD.
And your iPad. Don't forget your iPad.
That's true these days. So McFarlane Toys has revealed the next group of Walking Dead figures. We have coming up Rick Grimes 2, and apparently he will be in his civilian attire from Season 2.
Okay.
We've got Shane Walsh, Bicycle Girl, Zombie of course, and Well Zombie, whom we know as Teabag
Teabag
Zombie.
zombie. Well, zombie. That's the name.
One more, 2. RV Zombie apparently.
Oh, okay. RV Inspector.
Yeah, so 3 zombies, and Shane and Rick.
Hero zombies.
Yeah, Hero Zombies.
That's great. So the first pack was just random zombies, right? They were actual television characters.
No, I think those ones did appear on the program. They weren't quite of the hero level as these 3. Right. Now these will be released in the fall of 2012. And my only question here is, we're getting another Rick figure already. Do we need another Rick figure so soon? What about some of the other characters maybe we could have?
Rick's so iconic though. He's a central character. I'm not surprised by more Rick character. Is it?
Not really, but we've had the straightforward Rick from the TV series. We're not going to comic book one, but we've got straightforward Rick. We've got black and white Rick. That's the special one. We've got Bloody Rick, which also came in a couple of varieties, didn't it? Non-bloody and bloody.
Well, you just said non-bloody. Is there a bloody non-bloody?
No, but there's that Rick that's in color. One up on my shelf.
That one's in black and white.
I know there's a color version of that one. That's right. Yeah, really, I know.
That one there.
There's at least 3, maybe 4 versions of Rick already. Right. Even though some of them variations on the one figure. So we've got no shortage of Rick Grimes from McFarlane. I wish we could get a Glenn or an Andrea or a Daryl. Somebody else,
Zombie Shane.
Well, we're getting Shane. Maybe we'll get a zombie Shane variant.
Zombie Shane would be excellent. Little ridges around his eyes like he had there.
Yeah, he made a good zombie. Anyways, you can buy these at this point. It looks like fall 2012, and I guess McFarlane's going to continue releasing toys based on our Walking Dead characters. Great. All right, moving right along. The Walking Dead video game by Telltale Games has released some gameplay footage, which is very exciting. I wrote down the notes. The Talking Dead video game. That's not right.
You're making that?
There's no video game of us sitting here speaking in
How
microphones.
boring would that be? It's barely ready enough doing this thing, let alone playing a video game about it.
Come on, we're not that bad. So you watched the footage. I watched the footage. What do you think of it?
I thought it was very interesting. It's sort of like Space Quest.
That's a throwback.
Well, I love Space Quest, Games Quest, Visual Larry, all that kind of stuff. You look around, you do stuff, you talk to people. It looks not like your standard shooter. It's not like your standard role-playing games. Looks very kind of stylized and comic booky, which I kind of like. And it doesn't seem like a I don't know, just you're exploring, which I think is really interesting. That's what I really love about King's Quest and Space Quest and all that kind of stuff. Police Quest, all kinds of quests.
I know that was back in the day, man. Those were the first video games that I really played.
Me too. Remember when they came out with 56,000 colors? Oh, that was a good day.
Wasn't it 64,000?
Yeah, whatever. Right. It wasn't 8-bit anymore. It was 16-bit. It was great.
Those were good days. I thought the Walking Dead Telltale footage looked really good too. I think it was very moody and just everything about it was right. The color palette was right and the way everything looked was good. Slightly cartoony, which is kind of their style, but it didn't take away from the horror of it all. And I thought the zombies that we saw looked really good. And it looked like, as you said, you kind of move around and you go from one thing to the next, looking at stuff, interacting with things, and progressing the story. And of course, cut into that, you're attacked by zombies. Right? And it looks like most of the time you are attacked by maybe 1 or 2 zombies. At least what we saw in this footage, and you have to deal with removing them and killing them somehow. Right. And everything was timed, or at least everything I saw in this was timed. So if there's a zombie on top of you, you gave instructions on screen of what buttons to push or what to do, I guess, to get the zombie off of you. It was timed, and there's no way to do it right. You'd be chomped. Next keyboard. Slam your palm down on the and then even the conversation options. You couldn't just sit there and think about what you're going to say. You had to choose something before the timer, or presumably it will choose one randomly for you.
Or you just seem creepy. Or you just like
you just stand there silently.
well,
I don't know.
Time's up.
Yeah.
I should hold conversations like that.
You should go to work tomorrow and only talk to people like that.
Yeah, time's up. I will do that for you. If you haven't chosen enough time.
You always get right after that. So the game comes out in late April, according to Telltale right now, and it looks really fun. I'm totally gonna buy it.
Possibly pregnant April.
I may actually turn on the Xbox tonight and submit my pre-order.
There you go.
Totally. Jason over on Walking Dead did an interview with the Telltale Games guys. I just listened to it, so it was really good. If you want to check that out, I don't mind sending you over to them to hear that interview.
There you go.
So before we move on, we're going to take a quick break to thank one of our sponsors when we come back. We'll have our interview with Emily Kinney. But before that, I just need to thank Audible for the support of this show. The listeners of Talking Dead, Audible is offering a free audiobook download with a free 30-day trial to give you the opportunity to check out their service. What's our recommendation this week, Mr. Miles?
I'm going to recommend a book that you and I both read by Arthur C. Clarke, the legendary Arthur C. Clarke,
The Master.
Rendezvous with Rama.
Love it.
Which they've apparently been trying to turn into a television show for quite some time, unsuccessfully as of yet.
Movie, not television.
Oh, yeah, movie. Television show work, but maybe not.
Well, there's a lot of story there if you factor in the 3 sequels to Rendezvous with Rama.
Yeah, but the first book's written as a standalone, and I really like that idea. This thing comes into our solar system, and they go, holy crap, what is that thing? And they go up and they take a look at this thing, and they find out it's a big hollow cylinder that's spinning, so there's like gravity on the inside, and they go in and explore around, and then they just figure out, what the hell is this? This is very weird, and they just kind of leave their solar system, and that's the end of that. What the hell was that?
It's fascinating writing.
Yeah, so Arthur C. Clarke, narrated by Peter Gannon and Robert J. Sawyer, comes in at a bridge at 9 hours and 4 minutes.
Great. To download Rendezvous with Rama or any other audiobook from Audible for free, go to audibletrial.com/talkingdead. Once again, that's audibletrial.com/talkingdead for your free audiobook. Joining us now on the show is the actress who plays Beth Green on Walking Dead, Emily Kinney. Emily, thank you so much for taking the time to come on and spend a few minutes chatting with us.
Oh, thank you for having me.
First of all, I want to say congratulations on surviving the season 2 finale. You were one of the few members of the Green family that made it alive.
I know.
Before we can talk, it was scary. Before we can talk about that, I want to go back to the beginning a little bit though, and have you tell us sort of how you got part on the show, what the audition was like, and who was there, and how did it go in general.
Okay, well, I kind of was like, been acting in New York for a few years now, and kind of like an audition where, well, I got to but I had first audition with the casting director, and as you know, the team doesn't have a ton of scenes, so we actually auditioned with Maggie scenes, but with kind of a different character in mind, and so yeah, I first auditioned with casting director, and then she sent my boss and making some adjustments and did another audition and then found out that I had gotten part a few days later. So
So did
within a couple weeks. Sometimes things are drawn out with audition process. You're like auditioning for maybe a month, and sometimes quicker. It's actually one of the quicker ones I did. Maybe within a couple weeks, just a couple auditions.
So did you respond to like a casting call? They were looking for an actress of your type.
Well, I got auditions from my agent. So I guess usually what actors do is they go to agencies and say what they're looking for, and the agents recommend certain actors for the part. So that's how I got the audition with my agency.
Cool. And you said you were reading some of the scenes with Maggie. Did they appear on the show sort of the same as the way you had to audition them, or were big changes made between auditioning and filming?
Yeah, changes. There were definitely changes. I think they just had changes to kind of get an idea of how you are as an actor, and since it was a character that was in several episodes, it was 1, 2, 3 scenes, they were casting from, they wanted to like get an idea of you as an actor and how you might see your personality, how you might fit in with the whole group. So the scenes that I actually like weren't in the show, but they definitely informed, I guess, my character, and they were kind of preliminary scenes that they were thinking of having in and that sort of thing.
Well, cool. I think they made the right call.
Absolutely.
So before you got on the show, were you familiar with the comics at all, Kirkman's source material for the program?
Well, I knew of them. I wasn't a huge, comic book person growing up and stuff. But once I got part, I remember I went to a bookstore nearby where I lived on the west side, and I started like looking through them and reading them. I was so excited to be part of the show. I was so into it, and then of course I watched all season 1, and I knew of it. I hadn't, I guess, given it as much attention as I did once I got part. I really started looking at all that and got really into it and enjoyed reading through the comics and of course watching season 1.
So if you've gone back and read them now, you obviously know that your character Beth doesn't actually appear in the comics, although Herschel's family does include 3 daughters, Rachel, Susie, and Lacey. I had to go back and look those up the other day. It's been a while since I read those. So
Yeah.
do you think Beth is kind of a version of any of these comic book characters, or do you play her as something entirely new?
I really look at it as new. I think it's been really fun to read comics and like get an idea of where the whole story started, and definitely informs the Green family and like maybe kind of outline where the story could be going. But I also have to always, you have to stay true to like what is the TV show and what's written, for a television show. So I guess I really more focused on whatever they gave me, in the scenes with characters on a television show, rather than trying to be like name my character, or that's being the writers like rather than trying to guess. I guess I just went with I took like a fresh, this is a new character that isn't in comics. I kind of went out that way. But people said, maybe you're like this character, and I definitely like that in consideration and think about that as well. And but
Sure, so they gave you.
it was kind of like I was imagining like a different, a new character, a fresh character could be like a whole new thing, a whole like.
Sure, it gives you and everybody involved a chance to do something a little bit different than what's already happened, I guess.
Yeah, you can kind of use your imagination and create a new character.
Cool. So Beth, your character had a lot more to do in the second half of season 2. You were around, of course, in the first half, but mostly in the background. But when you came back in the second half after the break for the holidays and so on, starting with you were really featured in the opening scene there, where you are attacked by your on-screen zombie mother.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that scene, and it occurred to me that you need to sort of as an actress go from grieving your mother's death in one instant to being absolutely terrified of her in another. Was that a difficult transition for you? Was that a tough thing to do?
I don't remember the transition being difficult. I think all the characters make it so easy. They're really in the scene. We all just imagine that Sophia came on the bar and that like all these people have died, and so everyone around me is in that mood, and so you just go into that one and being like so sad to see your mom be shot. The zombie mom, and then when I went up to the zombie, she was so like fast and scary and like in my face that I wasn't hard to like, I was like, somebody comes behind you and scares you. Even though I knew it was coming, that the actress was playing the zombie and doing all this stuff, she just like came out with me with such force that like it wasn't hard to just like make up quick, like if somebody scared you, it was just like an instant switch of like, oh my god, being so scared.
So those the zombies are really as scary in person as they appear on the TV show.
I think it's not even scary on television because when we're on set we see them doing breaks and stuff, touching the phone and meeting with us. So like you're talking to them and stuff, so they're not quite scary, but sometimes the first like in the morning when you show on set you first see them, you kind of like you see them first, because they are very good at doing the makeup for that, and it's yeah.
It must have been. It looked like just an intense scene to play, because I think that zombie got a hold of your hair and was just grabbing at you, sort of wildly and randomly. I imagine it would be pretty freaky on set, even though you know it's not real.
Yeah, it's not really trying to, that's actually really trying to pretend that that's really what's happening to you. So it was scary, but it's also, it's fun. It's fun to pretend, and so I enjoyed shooting that scene. It was great to have a little more, force to do, and I was so excited when I read that scene that I didn't die. I was like, reading so closely. I remember the morning I got that script, and I was reading so closely, like, okay, this is fit. So it was fun to play that scene, get a little more, zombie action.
Cool. Well, after that, you spent some episodes kind of spending a lot of time lying in bed. And speaking of scripts, how far ahead do you know how things are going to play out? Was there ever a time you thought this might be it for Beth?
Yeah, I wasn't sure. I was going to read the script just, maybe a week before when we started shooting, since some things changed, a few days after that, the first version. So I would never really know for sure until I got, like, the full script, I think if you have a storyline coming up, they do a good job of kind of letting you know what will happen. So you can kind of actor and, like, kind of, setting up things that you want to do, or just kind of start thinking about, what your character's going to go through. So I would get a few hints of, like, Beth is eventually going to come out of her shock and have these kind of issues to deal with and stuff, even if I didn't read the script. But you never know, you really don't know for sure, what's going to happen. I didn't know what was going to happen in the finale until I got the script, what was going to happen with that. So it's always definitely a surprise, and then even if you read the script, things can change. So yeah, you never know for sure. It's always exciting. I would say, like, I would go back and forth between New York and Georgia. Sometimes my script would be FedEx to me in New York, and it was, I would say it was like, Christmas morning or Thursday morning, like, open your present, like, I would get the script, from FedEx, or like paging through it, or what kind of emailing it too. But yeah, I just got email a lot. But I just remember like that instant getting my email or FedEx or whatever. And
You must have been very pleasantly surprised to find out that you made all the way through the season without getting killed.
yeah, definitely. I was happy about that.
So how much time did you actually spend on set shooting for season 2? You said you went back and forth between New York and Georgia. How much of the time do you think were you down in Georgia? I think Glenn Zara said it takes like 8 days to shoot one episode. Were you there for the duration of the episodes that you were in?
Yeah, we just depend on how we schedule out, the scenes, and sometimes I would have a couple days before the weekend, so maybe it would make sense for me to come back to New York, maybe 13 Sunday to here, or audition, and then sometimes it wouldn't make sense, the way the schedule worked, I would take a day off, but it wouldn't make sense to like fly back here. So I did spend quite a bit of time. The first half of the season, I wasn't involved quite as much, so I was going a lot more. The second half of the season, I was just down there a lot. Like maybe I spent like over a month coming back to New York. But on and off, from July to November, I was down there, and really would usually the weekends, so I would be back in New York, or maybe like weekend and a couple days, or so.
So when you're on set, then a lot of the costuming, it seemed like you're grubby and dirty. You have to spend the whole time feeling dirty.
I mean, the first thing you do when you get to set is usually get in a costume and get into, make up hair, whatever they're going to do, so that way you're kind of ready. Sometimes things move fast, sometimes things move slow, so they always kind of want you ready for whatever the next thing you're doing is. So you did kind of spend, you go to make a trailer and they would kind of wait for certain things, your hands being all like dirty and grimy, maybe you want like a leaf one, you're dirty. So certain things they would kind of wait, like you were still kind of deciding, okay, how much are you actually going to be like getting when you were, you kind of need to be on set to see what looks realistic or whatever. So something would be on set, but sometimes I would spend days with my, my hair all kind of like crazy as I was when I just got my hair. I spent blood splattered on my face or whatever.
Sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was.
So let me ask you a couple more questions about your character a little bit more. One of the major themes of the show is how all these horrific events that are happening affect people and what it takes in a person to sort of do what's necessary to survive. Before the barn scene and Beth's attempted suicide, I got the feeling that she was a little bit sheltered from what was happening in the world so much. Now that she's been exposed to it all, do you think your character will harden a little bit and become a little bit tougher, maybe learn to survive on her own a little bit?
Yeah, I think sort of, natural progression of like I agree with you that she was definitely on the farm. They had found kind of like the system of dealing with walkers, and I'm sure she had gone through a lot of traumatic events before that. But I think that she really accepted it. And the family is sort of, she was sort of like in this little farmhouse and shelter, like you said. And then I think once that was, the doors were like really blown open with the group coming in and new people, they started to question what was going on around her and whether or not it's worth it to continue in this like crazy world. And then once you decide you're going to, I think you can't help it. Well, if I'm going to try to stay in this world and like if I found a reason to sort of live and try to survive, then you have to harden up a little bit. You have to become tougher and you have to grow up a little bit. So I'm curious to see what is going to happen. I was thinking about Andrea's character, how she sort of like that. She's not her season 2 of like, her character getting tougher, and I wonder if that's kind of happening with everyone a little bit. But I think definitely with Beth being so much younger and she's gonna have to kind of like grow up and get tougher.
Well, and like Lori Holden and Andrea's and the character of Andrea has had, well, I think maybe a similar arc to what Beth is going to be going through. Didn't want to go on, didn't want to live in this world, and then came to the realization that maybe it is worth trying to survive, and became much more focused on survival and figuring out how to continue living in a world like this.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely see some similarities in their characters. I always think of like that scene with her and her sister from season 1, and I felt like that was somehow, I mean, they're different, but in some ways similar, with the mom being right in front of her, like seeing her die, right, turning to a zombie, and then also seeing her get, her head scared, killed as a zombie, but right in front of her, and having to deal with that in such like an immediate way, and then deciding whether or not, she go on. I think they're going through a similar arc, to a different time.
So you've been acting for 5 or 6 years now, I think, and you're part of a cast on The Walking Dead that includes people like Lori Holden, as we mentioned, and of course Jeffrey DeMunn, or did include Jeffrey DeMunn, and people like Scott Wilson. These actors have been around for a really long time and are very experienced. Do you learn anything from working with them and being part of this big cast?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's such a gift, like as a younger actor, and getting to see the things they do and the process that they go through, and you can kind of see things they do for the team, and you can try on people for you, and it's just been such a gift. I think I love watching Andrew again on set. He really knows what works for his team to me, he seems to know what works for him, and it changes depending on the scene. And I think he's great. Everyone has a different way, depending on the character, and what they have to do that day in the scene. And it's been such a gift to be able to. The first half of the season, I didn't have much to do, but I was still around a lot on set, like in the background, and that was great for me because I got to watch these people and slowly become part of the group in the cast, and yeah, watch them learn. And that's been so nice and so fun. I feel like when a lot of Scott Wilson is so welcoming, it's almost like he is kind of like a father figure. For me and Lauren, we had little like family dinners at his place before, so that's been really fun.
Cool. Is there anybody that you haven't had a scene with really yet that you really look forward to maybe sharing some screen time with?
Oh man, that's such a great question. I just love watching like I love Melissa. I just think she's such a great actress. I love seeing that scene with Andrea. I know it's just a short scene where she said things go away taken for it. I just really enjoyed shooting that scene that day. I would love to have more scenes with Lori Holden. I think she's such a fabulous actress. Everyone's so good. But since there are some like things that are just really cool casting of her. I don't know. It's such a good question. Also great. I would be happy to be acting with any of them.
What about Norman Reedus? Everyone seems to love.
Of course. I mean, Norman's so charismatic and just so fun to be around on set. And I mean, I just think he's such a great person, and I love hanging out with him. I mean, I would love to get to him, of course. Maybe he could tell me something. That would be amazing. So yeah, definitely Norman.
Cool. So the season finale, it broke all kinds of ratings records for AMC. I think 9 million people tuned in, which is amazing.
Yeah.
What do you think it is about The Walking Dead that has people so hooked? What do you think draws them in like that?
Well, I think that, first of all, it's like action with the zombies and coming out with them. You just don't know, and there's not a lot of it. But then I think you do get to know the characters in a way that's like, you really grab onto them and you really like care for them and what they're going through. And so there's like these, it's not just like horror film, where like you go, you're scared, and it's, you jump in, you scream, and then you even forget about it. I think that there's an element of like, okay, what do you do? And there's these like really horrible circumstances of how you deal with it and how you change and how they come together or try to, turn on each other. I think that, everyone gets so invested in the characters, so it becomes not just like this like horror film, it's not like zombies either, it becomes like about you start to relate to certain characters and you, I guess wonder what you do in the, apocalypse, the zombie apocalypse, and so there's that, I think.
Cool. Well, off the top, we said that you survived the finale, which is great. Do you think it's safe to say that moving forward into season 3, that Beth takes a larger role in the group and you'll be on screen a little bit more often?
I hope so. I have no idea, so but I sure hope so.
Well, we do too. You were great on the show, and the little role that you had was an essential one. So I want to talk about your music career a little bit too. Of course, you're not only an actor but a successful musician. And so back in the fall, you released an EP called Blue Toothbrush, which I've been listening to a lot in the last couple of days. Would you say that music was your first love before acting?
I don't know. It's funny. I first got into like performing and things like that with music. I would like sing when I was little. I sang at shows in church and that kind of thing. And so that's when I first got into like performing, really loving like connecting with an audience. And but as I got older, I started to really fall in love with acting and theater and stage. And I sort of I still like love singing and theater and all of that. But I started to sort of feel like first I was an actor. I still feel that way. I made me acting for myself. And I could be in like theater all day long. I love plays and I love movies. But I think singing started starting to write songs kind of got me back to singing. And when I was little, I loved like Carrie. And I just when you do the sound that really well. I think I came back to music when with acting, you have all these different hobbies up and down. You have to be really busy, and you have times when you're not busy and have a downtime. I think I found myself in my downtime really still wanting to be creative and wanting to express myself or connect with an audience. And so I started writing songs, and it just became this thing that I started to like really fall in love with. The more I was singing for my producer, or the guy that produced my Toothbrush EP, I sang some songs for him, and I was doing some waiting. He was a bass player and played bass for teachers that waiting, and he was just so encouraging. Like, wow, these songs are really good, they're really special. And I started to really feel like it was just like singing my passion. Like I have to do this. Like, this is really fun. And each time I sing songs for people, they give me such great feedback that I just like I have to keep doing this. And now it's become like I'm playing shows and I have to create band now to come together. I play with different people, but now I sort of started to get this whole band together and love playing shows on CD, and I just love it. And I would love if I spent more time doing it. I split my time between like acting and also singing and writing songs. I mean, I love writing songs. So
Yeah, the EP, who produced the EP?
This guy Conrad Porsche, he has a production company called From Music, and he's a bass player for Rod Stewart as well. He plays bass for like a lot of people, but he's also sounds writer himself.
Yeah. So being in the studio is very much a different animal than being on stage. You enjoyed it just as much?
Yeah, I like each part of the process. I remember putting this together, and it was really new for me and fun to just like spend all day in the studio sort of making different music parts and adding different instruments and like them, changing words here and there, seeing how to sing certain phrases. Like that's so creative and so fun, and then in the day you have this track that you can listen to, and it's like this neat thing that you created. So that's really fun. But there's nothing like performing on stage. I mean, you don't know how it's gonna come out. There's something sort of like scary and awesome about it. You can always feel throughout. I remember people saying when I was doing it, you get bored, like you like it becomes autopilot. And like, well, you can still mess up, you can still make it great. Like it doesn't matter. Your memory can go, and you can anything can happen. And it's so exciting. Like anything can happen in like a great way. Like you could sing songs and just it come out awesome, or like everything just clicks, and you can know that it sounds amazing with like your band, and everyone's kind of grooving on the same page. So I think live performances are so fun. But I like every moment of the process.
Well, you don't get the benefit of take two when you're performing live, that's for sure. No.
That's true. Yeah.
So listening to the EP, I kind of got the feeling that New York City has a pretty strong influence on your songs and your life in general. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah, I mean, I think like I come from this really small town in Nebraska, Wayne, Nebraska, where I went to high school, and my parents grew up in this little town, and I spent a lot of time there too, in Nebraska. And I really haven't traveled a lot when I moved to New York City. I mean, we go on vacations every once in a little, but I haven't been to a lot of cities, so I think New York City was kind of a culture shock at first for me. It took, I would say the first year it was like I was there, but I wanted to do acting, and that was like my driving force. And then, but now it's different for me. I feel like New York City is home. I have friends here. I've met so many people that I just love, and so
Well, New York City is just the best city in the world, in my opinion. So I can see coming from a little town, having not really ever traveled too much to that, just the biggest, most amazing place in the world would really be quite something. Could have a lot of influence on a person.
Yeah, and at first, it was hard, but it's like one of the whole, right now, like, I don't feel like going to the city or having to set up somewhere. It's not scary to me. It's, because I feel like, if you could, I did one second again, like, moving to a new place or, now I love, seeing the city.
Cool. So listening to that, also, all the songs seem to be about relationships and things like that. And to me, the album felt like it progressed from the beginning with a sort of playful, lighthearted take on things to a more adult or serious place towards the end. When you were writing these songs, was this a progression that you had in mind? Was it a conscious decision to go that way?
Well, all the songs on this particular EP were also written during kind of the same time when I was on tour with the show August County, and so I was actually away from the theater time, but I was reflecting back on like kind of all the different things I've been through. And I think being an actor, you're traveling a lot, your every day is so different. And I think relationships, you're meeting people all the time, you're meeting people maybe one date or whatever. And I think it was hard for me to figure out how that was going to fit in. I really moved to the city because I loved acting and singing. But of course, everyone wants to be in love and have a boyfriend. And I think figuring out how that was going to fit in my life was is something that I was trying to figure out. And trying to sort through. I was on tour like almost sort of like by myself. You can't exactly like dating one. And in this particular path, I was like basically the youngest. I was in a big family and I was the kid, the youngest in the family. And so I was my own bit, and I think I was reflecting back on these relationships and trying to figure out what I wanted even.
Well, there's a bit of personal edge to this record. I can just tell, through the lyrics and so on. And it sounds like you really put a lot of yourself into these songs and lyrics that you've written.
Yeah, they definitely, especially the EP, I do a lot on just like my own experiences. I think it's so fun to be an actor and play different parts when people want me, and but then it kind of makes you have this outlet to sort of sort through things. I think what's cool about writing a song is you can take maybe something difficult you've been through and you can kind of make words rhyme and put it in like this nice little, this nice little, into this nice little story, this nice little song, and it feels like maybe you support something else, you make sense of it, or at least that you're making it this song. And so I mean, I use that a little bit.
Well, I imagine you'll be busy with season 3 starting next month, I believe. But what's coming up on the music side things for you? Are you going to be touring? Are you going to be continuing to play shows around New York and the area and stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, I have so many new songs. I can see it's just like just a few. Like I've written so many songs on tour, and now too, I feel like my music and my style is like progressing and changing a bit. So me and it's still like a way, my perspective on things. So I'm exploring different sounds and playing with really cool people guys. And so I'm writing a lot, and I'm definitely gonna play more for sure in New York City. And then I want to play shows in Atlanta while I'm shooting. But yeah, just more shows, more touring, and I'm trying to put together when I'm recording. So I want my next thing to be, have any sense, from the last album to the next thing, so incorporate some similar sounds, but it's definitely progressing, having new stories and new songs. And so both, I guess, more recording and more shows. Maybe after 15, maybe then I would, plan something more like a tour where I could go a bunch of different cities. I think right now I'm just focused more in New York City, LA, maybe Atlanta, places that are easy for me and my dance too,
Sure. Well, we're in Toronto. We're based out of Toronto, Canada. So if you're
I have a good music friend actually who does a lot of jazz music in Toronto. I'm wanting to play there for sure. Maybe with him.
Well, by all means, let us know when you're coming up, and we'll make our way out to the show. We'll be there for sure. We're going to play one of the songs from the EP, the title track, Bluetooth Brush. Do you want to say anything about it? Introduce the song anyway?
Well, I don't know. I hope you enjoy it. It was about I don't know. I read this while I was on tour. It is actually about a super I learned about. And I think I think we all have things that we sort of you leave behind something. I know a lot where like you leave something and you look there and you something behind and you wonder what happened to it. You wonder if you cared about it as much as you. I left notebooks before on planes and I thought to myself, this is nothing to them. It's just a really notebook and you have these like strange objects like toothbrushes. Maybe it means something more. You left it at the person's house, or maybe it's not person doesn't much at all. And I think it's an interesting thing to think about. Definitely.
Sounds like you've left a trail of things behind you as you travel around. All right, well, that's great. So we're going to play Bluetooth Brush from the EP, and you can find Emily at emilykinneymusic.com. EP Bluetooth Brush is available online at CD Baby or iTunes. Is there anywhere else you'd like to direct people to find it, or anything else that you're doing?
Well, you can always follow me on Twitter. I let people know when I'm shows, on that, and then there's a Emily Music Facebook page too, and I keep everyone updated. Not just on music stuff, but anything having to do with Walking Dead, I'm always commenting on that kind of stuff. So that's fun to follow me on Twitter if you like.
Sure. What's the Twitter address?
Oh, it's twitter.com/EmilkyKinney. So EMILYKINNEY. So my name is Emily.
Great. Well, Emily or Emily, thank you so much for taking the time to come on and chat with us. It was wonderful, and good luck in everything with music and moving ahead with Walking Dead season 3 and beyond, I hope.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
Do you have my Bluetooth brush? I left it near the bathroom sink. It's been a couple months, I think. You tossed it if I had to guess. I hope it never caused you stress. I know how you don't like a mess. You rarely have the time each day to deal with tooth or heart decay of someone who's a million miles away. But still, I thought that I could say I've been thinking about the different mornings talking in your bed. Sleepy eyes, head wrecked, blue hair dreams swirling in my head. I take a shower and brush my teeth with a toothbrush down there, easy to reach. I've been thinking about Harlem sidewalks, New York morning news. Candles, chocolates, love, North Shore, one for what I had to lose. Coffee, a kiss, and rings and bread. The half hour and the show began. See my Bluetooth brush, I left it near the bathroom sink. It's been a couple months, I think. Yeah, if you kept my Bluetooth brush, I don't mean to push or rush. You sure have a real nice taste. Toothbrush doesn't take much space. Maybe you could keep it there. I could be back in May of next year. Can't tell if it's wrong or right. You know that toothbrush keeps me up at night. If you don't want my Bluetooth brush, I'll take it back when we next meet. Just trying to help you keep things neat.
Holy crap. Did you see that?
All right, on Holy Crap this week, we have one email sent in from Kent in Kentucky. And he says, I have a couple Holy Crap. Did you see that once? And Holy Crap, did you hear that for the season finale? In Walker Herd that made its way to the farm, there was a Docker zombie. And every time I saw him, I thought of Jason and how he has stated several times that he does not want niche zombies. I would actually like to see one every once in a while, so as long as it doesn't get out of hand. My second did you see that was when Andrea busts the Walker with the butterfly gun. It seems like a mess of black goop comes out. Maybe the Walker brains are disintegrating.
Oh, maybe.
So did you know it's a Docker zombie?
No, I didn't know it was a Docker zombie.
Neither did I for some reason.
Go back and look.
Yeah. Now, Docker zombie is not the most offensive like niche zombie, I don't think.
No, I mean, I saw soldier zombies when I went to the school there where Shane shot Otis in the leg. So, I think we also saw some medical personnel zombie there as well. That makes sense for that setting, right?
It does.
So it's not like we have a whole football team shambling down the road.
No, the thing about these specific niche type zombies are, I mean, they're gonna happen. That's the thing. I know you don't like to see them on the show because they've been done before. Right. But if there was actually a zombie apocalypse, people are going to be turning into zombies when they're at work at the hospital, wearing their scrubs, or when they're on their high school football team practicing. And this is just going to happen. So it's not outside the realm of possibility that these sorts of zombies will exist.
Right.
That's true. But I see your point. I mean,
It's a very fine line.
yeah, you don't really need them on the show because there's enough just kind of regular, people sitting around their home and they're into zombies. So
Right. Well, yeah, I mean, as long as the niche zombies are appearing in context, right? You have a soldier zombie at an installation where there were soldiers. That's fine. Having clown zombie coming down the road. I mean, sure, we might have this guy got he's doing a kid's birthday party in the middle of a balloon animal and one of the kids back, right? It can happen, and there probably will be clown zombies wandering around.
well, that happened even not in the zombie apocalypse.
Well, yeah, it's crazy. When they want a balloon animal, they'll come at you. Yeah, so you can have out of context kind of weird zombies, but you have to just go down that line with a lot of care.
You do. You don't overdo it. That's the key. Yeah. Well, thank you, Kent from Kentucky, for writing in. If anyone else has Holy Crap, did you see that once? By all means, send them into our voicemail line or give us an email. I imagine there will be not so many of those coming in during summer since there's no Walking Dead on TV. But if you catch a rerun or you're watching an episode again and you know something you never did know the first time, let us know.
Right. Holy crap, you remember that?
we should change the segment for this one.
Might be a good idea.
All right.
Listener feedback.
It's time for listener feedback. We have a few calls to play this week. The first one is from TJ in Wisconsin. He has something to say about Michonne's chain zombies.
Hey guys, this is TJ from Boulder, Wisconsin. I'm calling about the Michonne zombie guard you're wondering why they're attacking her all the time, on the Talking Dead after show, they actually had an after show on the AMC website, and Robert Kirkland was asked the same question. He said that they probably had tried to kill her eventually. I mean, when it first started, when she first shot up, they probably had tried to kill her, but they gave up eventually, so they couldn't do it. So I guess they're just the lost will live type of thing. I don't know.
Lots of will live type zombies. I think we mentioned that briefly on last week's show too. For anyone who's still wondering, these zombies did try to attack Michonne for a while. Realized they couldn't really make any progress and just got lazy or bored and stopped.
Yeah, because she mentions that they gave up a long time ago.
Yeah, exactly. Right. All right, our next call comes from Cody in West Virginia on what T-Dog is holding.
Hey guys, this is Cody from West Virginia, and we can hear so many comments, but no one has yet that I can hear. But the scene after Dale died, and everyone knows on the Angst killing spree. Anyone notice what's in T-Dog's hand? Now, I've created the show mentioned several times T-Dog has nothing to do with Tyrese, but watch that scene again. Look what's in the black man's hand. Come on now. Oh, I like hammer. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Cody from West Virginia. Two comments about this. There has been some speculation online that they are going to not introduce the character of Tyrese into the show in season 3 or somewhere in 4 beyond, and instead they're going to develop T-Dog into that character. Right. I can see it happening, but I think the producers and maybe Robert Kirkman have kind of come out and said, no, T-Dog's his own man. We may or may not get to Tyrese later on at some point. Right. But what Cody is saying that is that T-Dog had a hammer, using a hammer to kill zombies, and that's something Tyrese did in the comic book. So it's just one of those things that links them together a little bit more, and is going to make people speculate that maybe T-Dog is going to become Tyrese character.
See, hammer makes sense. Scythe, not so much.
It's a lot easier to wield a hammer, but you gotta be closer to the zombie.
You do have to be close to the zombie, but yeah, it's just that swinging that scythe around really takes.
Well, and a scythe is good for one zombie at a time. You have to kill that one zombie, and then you need time to pull it out and kind of refocus and get the next one. With a hammer, you can hammer like crazy.
Yeah, I'm telling you, that's what I can think of is a flattened, sharpened shovel. You take a shovel, you hammer it flat, you sharpen the edge.
Yeah.
That's a good little weapon right there.
Pretty sharp beginning, actually. It's not bad. The other thing that Cody's call reminded me of is that scene in Dr. Horrible, where Nathan Fillion's talking about his hammer, and then pauses and comes back in and goes, hammer fucking
Yeah, that was such a, go check that out. Go check out Horrible Sing Along Block. It was fantastic. Go check it out.
Okay, we have another call from Dave in New York, speculating about season 3 a little bit.
Hi guys, this is Dave from Syracuse, New York. Just caught up with all your podcasts, and I gotta say your last podcast was amazing. It was cool listening to your thoughts. I don't have a full craft to see that or anything, but I was just reading comics today, and it occurred to me. Spoilers for anyone who hasn't read comics, so I won't skip this. We all know Rick Lewis is in the comics. Well, if you chop off Merle's hand in season 1, what if in season 3, where we know the governor's coming, you find out that Merle's had the governor's hand, and Rick is sitting there, and Merle says, hey, an eye for an eye, and chops his hand off. Just an idea, maybe that's how they're gonna do it. Anyway, love the podcast, keep up the great work. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Dave. I think it's a thought. It is. I kind of expect Merle to be part of the group that is being led by Governor, or at least be on his own and somehow get involved with them. So it's completely within the realm of possibility that Rick will meet up again with Merle and someone will lose a hand.
Right. I do have a, I don't necessarily think Rick's gonna lose his hand. I don't think it's for storytelling reasons. I think I mentioned this way before the show even started when we were podcasting before the first season aired, was that the commitment to practical and special effects when a main character loses a limb like that is significant. So if Rick didn't have a hand, every shot of him would require him wearing a blue glove and then having CG, having computer graphics paint out his hand so you can't see anymore. I think that's a way too big of a commitment financially and effort-wise for a television show. Yeah. So that's why I don't think they're going to do that. But I think it would be great. Storytelling-wise, I think Rick should lose his hand.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it would be tough to pull off, and it might even be tough to convince the network that we're going to cut our main character's hand off to increase costs, and it's going to it's going to make it that much more difficult for him to do anything, right? Which puts pressure on the writers, and just I don't think it'll work, right? Comic medium is far different from TV as a medium.
Much less computer graphics special effects.
In comic, yeah. So we got an email from Graham from the internet, and he writes in and says, in regards to season 2 of The Walking Dead, I just wanted to say, on your podcast when discussing the finale, you wondered how Jimmy knew to drive around back of the barn and what Daryl had said to him. Daryl said to Jimmy that must have been Rick and Shane that started the fire, and they were trying to get out around back. Why don't you circle around? Then off Jimmy goes. What really bugged me about this scene was when Jimmy pulls up to the back of the barn, he pulls up right against a huge group of walkers, and while Rick and Carl jump on to the top of the RV, he gets up from behind the wheel and goes open the door.
Yeah.
WTF.
That's why I was yelling, Jimmy, what are you doing? Jimmy, don't get up. Jimmy, don't stop. Jimmy's down.
He has eyes. He must have seen all the zombies he pulled up beside. Why go open the door? Everyone knows that you let your buddies jump on the roof, they give the roof a smack to let you know they're on, and you take off, get out of danger.
Yeah, and that roof has a roof rack, right?
There's all kinds of stuff to hold on to. Graham finishes with, you don't take your time, wait for them to climb down and go open the door and get in. That was a stupid move and really annoyed me.
Yeah, I agree. Jimmy made a mistake.
He did. It cost him his life. He did. Mark from 18 Miles Out writes, and he says, when reading graphic novels, I felt the appearance of Michonne was the exact moment where the books really turned into a comic, and if they showed her on TV with walkers chained to leashes, a lot of viewers would see it as a bit of a jump to shark moment. While I was giddy as a schoolgirl, I fear TV watchers will shake their heads. Thoughts? So what do you think here, Jason? Is it too much to ask for the general sort of population to look at a character that has zombies chained to her with a samurai sword on a serious TV show and not go, come on?
I don't know. I'm too much of a gay schoolgirl myself seeing Michonne show up.
We all have that problem with it.
Yeah. I squealed. I'm not too proud to admit when Michonne showed up on screen. I squealed. I'm not sure. I think somebody showing up with a whole truck full of guns might be bad. Like if somebody showed up with all kinds of firepower, I think that would be a little overkill.
Or it just might be too easy for them.
Yeah, too easy for them. Someone shows up with a tank and it's workable, right? And they drive around the tank. What kind of tank is going to stop because of a horde of zombies? Just gonna roll over. So I don't know. Michonne's pretty badass, and she's awesome with that sword, and I'm just very excited about it. I'm not sure if the general public can stomach it, but I know I sure can.
Yeah, well, I'm with you. I think it's gonna be amazing, but if you're not familiar with this and you don't know who she is or what's coming, I can see Mark's point here. People might be like, yeah, come on. But then on the other hand, a katana's not a common thing. It's not that hard to come by.
A real one is very difficult.
Okay, a real one, but like a sword isn't that hard to come by, right? I mean, I'm not saying you're lying around all over the place.
I mean, you can go to a comic book shop and pick up a sword, right? But basically, you might as well have a metal ruler on a stick. The stick is a crosspiece.
Sure, but any convention you go to, or trade show, the comic industry events, there's always at least 1 or 2 vendors there. They're selling pretty real looking authentic swords.
Yeah, those things break, right? Like they're not tempered, they're not properly folded, properly manufactured or made by an actual farmer or swordsmith or whatever it is. Those things, as soon as you hit something that's in any way solid, like if you hit a door jam or a car or something like that, the blade's just gonna snap.
Okay, so it's gonna be pretty tricky to find a really usable sword.
A really usable sword would be very tricky, I think.
You have to break into that as a collector or something.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I've seen a few swords in my day. I went to various conventions or even the Time Show or go to CNE here in Toronto, the Canadian National Exhibition that happens every August and September. I've seen a few swords, but they're all replicas. I really doubt that I've ever seen an actual real sword in my life.
Okay, well then you gotta stick with Sharp and Shovel.
I think Sharp and Shovel's a great way to go.
Okay, so I think Mark has a point then that you might be asking a lot of TV viewers to buy into a sword wielding character with zombies chained to her. I hope that's not the case, but maybe will.
Well, just hopefully they don't get Daryl to jump a shark
on the motorbike.
That'd be really bad.
It also sort of depends on what they do with Michonne in season 3.
Right.
If that was just a really badass introduction to her and they bring her down to earth a little bit more for season 3, she becomes part of the group. She's not gonna have zombies chained to her all the time. It probably will be easier for people to latch on to her and use her.
Well, yeah, that's what happens in the comics. Well, she doesn't have those zombies for very long after she meets up with the group. Right. She doesn't need them anymore
Because she's got people to take care of.
People to take care of and help take care of. And she does become part of the group. She's not out wandering the earth, swinging her sword around, cutting through droves of zombies. That doesn't happen. But I don't think it's gonna happen in the television show. Right. I think it's just a cool introduction to a cool character that has a lot of promise.
Awesome. Bert from Boston wrote in, and he said, I had some thoughts regarding Rick's haste to give Carl Daryl's gun. I felt that Rick was really wounded by Shane's comments about caring more about the Randall situation than about Carl, and I thought that he was especially upset that Carl had chosen to become Shane about his deal rather than Rick. Rick already felt threatened by Shane and he knew that Shane would replace him as a father figure for at least some time while he was in the hospital. I felt that giving a gun back to Carl with the whole "you should know better" speech was at least subconsciously Rick's effort to become the good guy again and win back his son's trust and affection.
Well, it very well could be. I'm not sure giving your son a loaded handgun is the way to do that in a responsible fashion.
Probably not, but in desperate times you do some crazy things. So I think Bert makes a good point. Rick is feeling undermined as a father a little bit. He needed to do something to win his son's trust back and decided to give him a weapon. That's what we need in the zombie apocalypse.
Hopefully it works out for them.
One more email. Shannon from Missouri writes in and she says, I have a bit of theory about the walkers. In season 1 they're a bit slower, not as aggressive, and just looking for food. The later episodes of season 2, namely Judge Jury Executioner and their angels, the walkers are smarter, quicker, and more agile. My theory is that since everyone is already infected, the fever makes the living and the dead more aggressive. Take a look at Shane. Sure, he was already hothead and kind of an ass, but he wasn't this mean in season 1. As more time passes, we see he has more of a dick and even twitches and has weird mannerisms similar to a walker.
Right.
So it seems like maybe the infection is just making people crazier in general and more aggressive,
That very well could be.
including walkers. Now, this kind of is contrary to the theory that walker speed is determined by the level of decomposition of the body. Right? If they're in sort of good physical shape, they can move faster than if, like stuff hanging off, their bones are exposed and things like that. But it's an interesting balance to think that walkers can only operate as quickly as their decaying body will allow them, versus the desire because of this infection to be more agile or aggressive.
That's how I operate. I can only go as fast as my decaying body will allow.
Right.
It's true.
You're doing okay.
I think so.
So far. All right. Well, we'll see. I mean, we'll see as the show plays out. We'll see if the living characters become more wacky or if the zombies become more dangerous. Alrighty, that is it. We have no next time on the Walking Dead, of course, because there's nothing until season 3. After today, we're going to take a short break, maybe a couple of weeks off, just to regroup and think about summer and what we're going to do.
We're going to plan.
Here's some ideas. Let's run down some ideas for future podcasts. Number one, I think we'll definitely do go back to our actor spotlights where we choose actors from the show, watch some of their other work, and talk about it on here. We've got a few actors we can do. We had a request from a listener to do a pretty much non-Walking Dead related podcast where we just talk about other stuff we like and give some recommendations maybe for if you like The Walking Dead, maybe you like this. Pencils. Like pencils.
Probably not pencils.
Maybe. I don't know. Pencils factor heavily into the creation of comics.
They sure do. So ink. Oh, I could go on with ink.
Yes, I'm sure you could. So we might do that. We might do a recommendation episode. We're thinking about a season 3 speculation episode with special guests. If we do that, we'll try to do it sooner rather than later so that we don't already know about season 3.
Right, so we can give us a chance to actually speculate before we informulate. That's a word.
Before we learn. There's got to be a word for it. Anyway, all right. So we might do that, and there's a small chance that we may rewatch season 2 and just kind of talk about it again.
We can watch the pilot episode of season 1 and then speculate as to what's going to happen after that.
Because who knows?
Who knows? It could be anything.
I still think, and I've raised this theory on this podcast before, but I still think that the opening scene from the pilot episode where Rick drives up to that gas station and shoots the little girl zombie, I still think that happens way in the future at some
I
point.
don't know. He's wearing his uniform. Why? He does not wear his uniform anymore. He's giving his son the hat.
I know, and the thing,
He's lost his pistol at least a couple of times since then.
the place where it breaks down is that uniform he took off and put in a drawer of the farm, which I'm pretty sure he didn't have time to go back and grab.
Oh, sure he did.
Before they took off.
Yeah, when Jimmy drove the camper out and they jumped on, they banged on the roof twice and then they drove away and everything was all hunky-dory, they had plenty of time to go back to the uniform.
Oh wait,
That was an alternate reality,
now
wasn't
listen, my theory doesn't entirely fall apart because if Rick is the last man standing, and this does take place sometime in the future at the end of this show, there's no reason he couldn't go back to a police station somewhere, get a uniform, stock up on weapons if there's anything left, and strike out on his own.
So he's gone over the bend.
It bookends the series really nicely.
He's gone crazy. He's like, I'm going back to my old life, whether you like it or not. You horror zombies. I'm putting on an old uniform, I'm grabbing my old guns, and getting another hat.
Something like that.
I'm shooting another little girl in the face.
Yeah, because that scene for me, I have a hard time fitting that scene. I can't believe we're talking about the pilot all of a sudden here, but I have a hard time fitting that scene into the progression of the rest of the episode, right?
I don't. It's after he gets out of the he leaves Daryl Morgan and he goes to the police station, he grabs his uniform, whatever. But before he gets to Atlanta.
Okay, that's fine. But what I mean is, it's a little girl, and he had to shoot another little girl zombie later on, and that was such a difficult thing for him to do. Whereas what we saw in the pilot episode seemed like he'd done it in time.
Go back and watch the look on his face.
I'm not saying
he the way he is, and I think he did a fantastic job portraying this. He just it's like, oh, you really need to make me do this
again.
No, I'm not sure it's again. I think it's like it's sad. Yes, I recognize what you are, and just like I have to shoot you now. And then when Sophia comes out of the barn, he's a little more stoic, and he's like, oh, crap, I knew you, and I've been trying to find you, and now I have to shoot you, and he's determined to do it. But that first one, it was just the sadness and horror on his face. Just I don't think he'd done it before. I can't bring myself to agree with you.
I don't know. I think someday I'm gonna stick with my theory that someday when the show is winding down, we're gonna find out that scene happened not at the beginning of the apocalypse, but at the end.
The end of the apocalypse.
Well, the end of this show's depiction of the
The
apocalypse.
apocalypse is the apocalypse.
That's right.
The apocalypse.
Sure, why not? Alright, that's going to wrap up this episode of The Talking Dead. Thank you so much for listening, everybody. And a huge thank you to everybody out there who has been listening through, well, since we started through season 1, season 2. It's fantastic to have you aboard and participating like you do, and it's really makes us fun to do.
Absolutely.
So, with that in mind, if you want to give us a call, you can do so on our voicemail line 1-866-483-ZOMB. That's the zombie line. That's ZOMB 9662. We are on Twitter at Talking Dead or on Facebook at facebook.com/TheTalkingDead. They switched us over to the new timeline. I don't like it as much. Just throwing it out there.
Right. Yeah, I'm a little.
I like timeline for personal profiles. I think it works really, really well. It doesn't work as well for like a Facebook page like we have. So that's a whole different thing. But thank you for everyone for sticking with us over there on Facebook. That's going really well. We are over 1,050 likes right now and catching up to our tribal Jason Karen. Oh, he mentioned it on their program, so I'm going to mention it here. That's all I'm saying.
And thank you to Emily King for coming on the show today. That was great.
Email us at talkingdeadpodcast@gmail.com. We accept all variety of email and we'll read them on the show if they are appropriate. For the Talking Dead, my name is Chris.
And my name is Jason.
Thanks for listening.
Bye.